listening to an absolute festive cracker of On The Topic podcast. And this week you'll find me sipping my mulled wine and watching crappy Christmas films. I'm Dan.
And, I'm quietly sitting in the corner, minding my own business, sipping on some Baileys, and I'm Alex. And welcome to a rather festive, as you say, Dan, episode of On The Topic. Is it our fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth Christmas-themed episode, I guess.
I think it is.
And we're going to do something a little bit different this year, because the last couple of years we've done...
Favourite Christmas films?
Favourite Christmas films, yes.
We talked about Die Hard being a Christmas film.
It is.
These are going to rear their ugly heads at some point.
Highly contentious, isn't it, still? Every year comes around and people are talking about whether the Die Hard film is a Christmas film. Of course it is. We know it is.
Yep.
It's not a debate there, it's a fact, so I don't quite know why people still every year come up with this nonsense.
There's going to be some controversy in this episode.
Yeah, I feel a certain individual with the name beginning with G is going to take a shotgun blast to the face in the listener interaction section. But we'll see how avid and annoyed I get when we get to that point.
She might be coming for you.
And I'm ready for the fight, Dan. I will fight hell and high water to contest that Die Hard is a Christmas film, because it is. But yes, we're doing something a little bit different this year, aren't we, Dan? We've got a bit of a lovely mix. If you imagine you've got the family round, and you've got the nibbles out, you've got your bowl of... Well, we'll talk about this in a minute, no doubt. But you've got your bowl of nibbles, your nuts, or your Bombay mix. Yeah. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I know it used to be back in the 90s.
Oh, it still is now.
Still around, right?
Yeah.
There's weird little hot... Peas should never be that fucking hard. They're like to take out your teeth, right?
Yeah, easily.
But you then got the spicy long ones. Then you got the mini twiglet things.
Oh, I love twiglets.
They're beautiful. Mini cheddars. So that's going to be one topic of conversation this evening. Then you bring out the big guns. You got your mini spring rolls, or your little onion bhajis, or perhaps your little macaroni cheese bites.
Jalapeno poppers.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know what you do with your time to talk about poppers, but that's it's fine. We have open minds on the weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup.
All on topic.
This is
throwback.
Old.
It is. It's because look at the older episodes today, of course. Whatever we call ourselves. But yes, that's one topic of conversation, and then we're then going to bring out the little puddings. It's going to be another conversation. Yeah. So we're going to have a whole spread for you today, listener. All festive, all sprinkling of glitter and lovely things, and with good measure we've got some listener interaction at the very end.
Oh, it's a good one. So this is going to be done in 3 sections.
Yes.
So we've been challenged by our listeners to talk about some really terrible Christmas films. We then going to have a section inspired by you, Alex. This week you asked your Chichester Radio listeners about the best and worst parts of a festive roast dinner.
Indeed, got some really good feedback actually, so I can feed that into this as well.
And some hell of a lot of controversy around some of these things that people have chosen. And then last off, we've been again challenged to reel off some late Christmas presents for loved ones.
Because that was a request last year, wasn't it? I seem to recall. Some people were asking for things perhaps to get a loved one at a last minute. So we can cover some of those off too.
So should we just dive into it?
Yeah, let's take off our Christmas jumpers, put on the tinsel, and go head first into this smorgasbord of Christmas delight.
Before we dive into the really bad stuff, it is worth mentioning, if people want to listen to your favourite Christmas films, it's OTT episode 8 from 2020, and it's a blinder.
It's
no
a really good one.
Chose Elf. What's wrong with that?
There's a lot wrong with it. I think I told you this last year, and I need to rectify it this year. I've only seen it once. I need to watch it again. I'll probably show my son it, because it is funny, and it is obviously PG. Will Ferrell. Very good film.
Is it God tier? God tier Christmas film?
I think most people say it is. Slightly off topic. We keep on doing this. But people know by now that we're renowned for going slightly on a tangent. Is it Tesco's, was it, who did the advert with the elf?
Oh, it was Asda.
Was it Asda? Of course it was Asda. Yeah. It wasn't very good.
It's shite.
Like, they did very little editing. I don't know how they managed to afford it. They obviously didn't spend an awful lot of money in post-production because it just looks like Will Ferrell has been taken from one film and inserted into quite a drab-looking Asda. I wouldn't be happy if I was Will Ferrell with that.
And I wouldn't be excited running around an Asda store like that either.
No, quite. There's not an awful lot of Christmas cheer in an Asda.
Have you ever been to Fratton Asda?
Not in a long time.
It's horrendous, don't bother.
Yeah. Because the Bridge Centre's still there, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
Still got the butchers stinking out the entrance. Has that gone now?
No, it's gone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Shows how long I've been there.
Yeah, it's a bit miserable. It could do with a facelift.
Or levelling. Yeah, I try not to go. Try not to go into Fratton too often. But yeah, Will Ferrell. Not too sure what he was doing there to lend his likeness or his character to that supermarket. But hey, whatever. Other supermarkets, of course, are available.
Indeed. So this actually came in from Dan. This is why we're doing this episode. A suggestion for the Christmas episode: the worst Christmas movies you can find. I'm talking the low-budget guff that no one has ever watched on the free streaming services. I am going to disappoint a little bit. So some of these are out now and have obviously trended.
Oh, right.
There is a couple of really, really bad ones. And there's a classic in there which just doesn't hold up today.
Oh, is there? Hasn't aged well at all?
No. I know you've probably seen one or two of these films.
Okay.
So I'll kick things off.
Yeah.
Falling for Christmas on Netflix.
Right.
Starring Lindsay Lohan as Sierra Belmont, or Sarah. Cord Overstreet as Jake Russell. George Young as Tad Fairchild. Jack Wagner as Beauregard Belmont.
He's on the red wine again.
Well, I've already started off with some mulled wine, so
This is true.
I'll keep going. Olivia Perez as Avi Russell. Alejandra Flores as Alejandra.
Great name.
Sean J. Dillingham as Ralph. Chase Ramsey as Terry Carver. And Aliana Lohan as Bianca. Yes, they are related.
Wow.
This is the synopsis. In the days leading up to Christmas, a young and newly engaged heiress experiences a skiing accident. After being diagnosed with amnesia, she finds herself in the care of the handsome lodge owner and his daughter.
Oh, right.
Now, would you like the Pompey synopsis of this?
Yes, you told me about this just before, and I was amazed and dazzled by the simplicity of the storyline and just how bonkers and batshit it sounded.
So this comes from Charmaine. This is the alternate version of the synopsis. It is very accurate.
But it's still the actual events of the film, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a different way of describing it.
I need to try and do this without laughing my arse off.
I don't know how you're going to do it, Dan. It's 7 or 8 lines of wonderfully crafted words, but let's see how you get on.
Spoiled brat falls over the edge of a cliff, hits her head and forgets who she is. She then has to graft for a living, live in a shit B&B and brings up someone else.
Didn't take long.
And brings up someone else's snotter. So anyone that isn't from Portsmouth, a snotter is someone else's child.
Little child, yes.
She then realises she's been a twat and falls in love. She also used to be on crack. The end.
Oh, right.
I don't think we're talking about the heiress. I think we're actually talking about Lindsay Lohan here. We're getting down, dirty and personal.
I'm sure we'll be done for libel. I want to say, though,
well, it's not mine.
Oh, right, okay, so someone else's.
Yeah.
So we're dobbing... Was it Charmaine?
Charmaine, yeah. Sorry,
so
Charmaine.
She's going to get...
Hollywood's coming for you.
Yeah, going to get in trouble and be slapped with a... whatever they do these days. Okay. That sounds interesting. Lindsay Lohan, she doesn't look like Lindsay Lohan, right? Or is that just me? Hasn't she... She looks a little bit different than, I guess, when last time she was in the limelight. Is that just age, or is that...
I think it's age. She looks like she's filled out a little bit, which is good.
Oh, good.
Healthy.
Okay. She's on the straight now, eh?
Yeah. And, of course, we love Rotten Tomatoes on the topic.
Oh, yes.
On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 61% of 51 critics' reviews are positive, and an average rating of 4.8 out of 10. The website's consensus reads... It's no miracle on 34th Street, but viewers, in the mood for some fa-la-la-la Lohan will find
Oof.
falling for Christmas as easy as falling on the couch.
Oh, right.
I'd probably say it's very fair and a very accurate
Did you enjoy it?
review. It was good. Predictable.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, it's all right.
A middling Christmas film to put on the background. Okay.
Next up, we've got Your Christmas or Mine on Amazon Prime. Oh, no, you've watched this one.
I have.
Starring Asa Butterfield as Hubert James Hughes, Cora Kirk as Hayley Taylor, Daniel Mays, phenomenal, as Jeff Taylor, Angela Griffin as Kath Taylor, Harriet Walter as Iris, David Bradley as Jack, Natalie Gamede as Kay Taylor. Do you notice my tone changes when I try to get a name correct?
Oh, really?
I've just noticed that myself. I'm like,
Okay. Does it work?
I don't know. We'll soon find out when we're getting sued for getting these people's names wrong. Lucien Laviscount as Steve, Ram John Holder as Anthony, and Mark Heap as the railway conductor.
And I think before we get into it, Dan, for me, that's what a dozen or so names you've reeled off there, maybe 15. But that's the cast. In any other feature film, you'd have no doubt hundreds of people. In this, there's not that many people in there. It's almost going to see like a theatre show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like theatre, obviously, you don't have infinite amounts of extras and people on the stage, and they often rework them. In this, there is a handful of people, effectively.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was really good. It's not as predictable as some of the Christmas films out there, like all the Hallmark ones.
No?
It's genuinely brilliant. Synopsis for everyone. Let's say if you're bored one day, waiting for your roast dinner to cook, get this on if you've got Amazon Prime.
Oh, definitely.
It's very, very good.
I'm not sure if I can say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you don't have Amazon Prime, try and get hold of it. Because I think it's really worth a watch. Not that long. What's the run time?
It's about
an hour and 40?
90 minutes.
Yeah, it's not long. But yeah, I would strongly recommend it. If you haven't got Prime, don't let it be a blocker. Try and get yourself a copy. But sorry, Dan. Yes, what's the dealio?
Students Hayley and James are young and in love. After saying goodbye for Christmas at a London train station, they both make the same mad split-second decision to swap trains and surprise each other. Passing each other in the station, they are completely unaware that they have just swapped Christmases. Hayley arrives at a vast mansion in a small village in the Gloucester countryside to find a place where Christmas does not exist, whilst James heads north to a small semi-detached house in Macclesfield and steps into the warm and chaotic pandemonium that only a large family Christmas can bring. When the entire country is blanketed in the biggest snowfall on record, our star-crossed lovers are trapped at the most manic time of the year. Christmas traditions are turned on their head, secrets are revealed, and family truths are told, with hilarious consequences. The couple realise that there is an awful lot they don't know about each other.
Which isn't surprising, really, because they know each other literally about 3 months.
Will they be able to swap back in time for Christmas Day? And will Hayley and James' fledgling relationship make it through to the new year?
Now, I've got a question for you, Dan. I've been wanting to ask this for a while since I've seen it. It's only been about a week. If you're in that situation, so you've met, imagine you're not with your significant other, and you're with someone new, boy or girl, 2022, doesn't matter. For 1 second, let's just put it out there. And you're with them for about 3 months. So you've met, I guess, chronologically, the beginning of your university time, because that's what's happened if you work it out here. Would you just on a whim decide to go and spend Christmas with the other one's family, given you don't really know an awful lot about them? Would you do that? Would you be sat on your train and go, actually, yeah, I've been off my mum and dad. This might be a bit controversial now. I've got to be careful what we say.
Yeah.
But I've been off my mum and dad, and I'll jump off the train, because I paid that train fare, which is probably quite expensive. And I'm going to go and pay another train fare and go and surprise this girl or boy that I don't know, and I'm going to go and spend time with them instead. uninvited, by the way.
Yeah.
You're unfucking invited. No one's invited you to come spend Christmas with them. You spent all that money, and you can let down your own family and go, by the way, I'm not coming, so do one.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Exactly. Like, would you do that?
No, I'm not ballsy enough. I just couldn't. And like I say, it's another train fare.
Mate, it's all about the money these days. I mean, if the trains aren't striking, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. But if the train... I'm all for it, by the way, guys and girls. There's a good reason for it, and I don't disagree. Just a bit of tongue-in-cheek for those obviously who know what we're talking about in the UK. I mean, everyone's bloody striking these days in the UK, for quite good reason too. But anyway, yeah, it's expensive. And, you know, they're what, first-year university students.
Yeah.
Don't know how they're affording those train line tickets.
It was hard enough getting home from Plymouth when I was a student.
That's a good couple of hours, isn't it? 4 hours, something?
Yeah, it's quite a trek.
Yeah.
It's about 3 trains as well, but I used to get a train straight up to Reading, and then I'd go down to Newbury and I'd meet my dad after he finished work, and then he'd drive me home.
That's a good egg. It wasn't too bad for me, just to strap one train line, one to the other, but yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure. What do they call it? They called it mega romantic or something, or something like that. And it is. I don't think I'd do it though. I don't think that should be a slight on me. Because I like to think, at the right times I can pull a bit of romance out of the bag, but I'm not quite sure. I'd want to get on the train and.
No.
Anyway.
I mean, getting on a train's hard enough. You know, we talk about this on What Grinds Your Gears Volume 2 from earlier in the year.
You got some bloody idiots with their tinnies or school kids yapping around and throwing things and kicking off.
Get in the bin.
Well,
get in the
kids or the trains?
Just the annoying people.
Yeah.
I just want some peace and quiet on my train. I want to chill out. I want to listen to music or a podcast. I don't need your shit. I
don't need you playing some shitty YouTube video on loud.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, we don't need to be here ranting and raving. We've already done it.
We've already done that. Back in What Grinds Our Gears, Volume 1.
And Volume 2.
And Volume 2. Yeah. But anyway, you get my point. There are a number of different plot holes in this film. If we were here all the time talking about plot holes, we'd never enjoy these films. And they're there as a matter of convenience. So I won't point them out apart from that one, which I think is a little bit short-sighted, which is the whole premise of the film. But look, I think go into it with expectations of what it is. It's not supposed to be the next Love Actually or Bridget Jones or whatever it is.
No. It's not going to be a god tier film. It's
or The Holiday, which is god tier.
Yes, 100%.
And you shared with me some exciting news, Dan, didn't you?
Yeah.
Again, another little segue.
The Holiday 2.
Yeah. With the original cast.
Yes.
That's
Jack
awesome.
Black, Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz.
And of course, what they're up to now.
Yeah.
What they're doing after all these years.
I'm intrigued.
I reckon Cameron Diaz and Jude Law are no longer together.
Yeah.
They're never married. But perhaps they end up getting back together and marrying. Plot twist.
Who knows?
And then Jack Black and what's her face? Kate Winslet, yeah. Perhaps a happy man's got kids running around today. Who knows? Excited. Really excited. So no doubt we've got to wait until, well, hopefully it'll be next year.
Yeah.
There's no CGI involved. Just diaries and getting people around.
Nice and easy. Get out to the UK countryside again. Or
that might be CGI.
Somewhere nice in LA.
Yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it. But anyway, yes, sorry. Again, we digress, but all for good reason.
It's festive.
It's
fine.
It is.
It's all good.
Your Christmas or mine? What else we got?
I actually genuinely sort of found the Rotten Tomatoes review on this a bit unfair.
Oh, right, yeah.
No actual words for the review, it just hit 57%. The fact it did better than the Lindsay Lohan film is shocking.
Oh, really? What, do you think the Lindsay Lohan film is better than...
No, I thought it was worse. Did I say it did better?
Yes, better.
No, it did worse than the Lindsay Lohan film. Should I say?
No way.
57%, yeah.
Oh, wow.
57% against the 61% of the Lindsay.
No, I mean, it's quite close. But that is shocking. Was that the critics or was that the audience?
Critics.
Did
damn these critics. To be honest, as we sort of go through some of these other films, it doesn't make any sense. But, here we go.
Yeah.
Next up, we have got The Night Before Christmas on Netflix, and that is Night with a K.
Oh, right.
If you've heard of any of these actors or actresses, I'll be very surprised.
They've got to start from somewhere, though, Dan.
True. It is very Hallmark, this film.
Oh, right.
Vanessa Hudgens as Brooke Winters, Josh Whitehouse as Sir Cole Lyons of Norwich, Emmanuel Shariki, I think I got that right, as Madison, Harry Jarvis as Sir Joffrey, Ella Kenyon as Kayla. No, do you know what? Whatever. Arnold Pinnock as Officer Stevens, Jean-Michel Legal as David, Mimi Giannopoulos as Alison, and Jacob Soley as Patrick.
Wow.
If you want the synopsis...
Yeah.
A medieval English knight from the 13th century is magically transported to present-day America, where he falls for a high school science teacher who is disillusioned by love.
Oh, I've heard of... Is this a couple of years old now?
2019.
Yes, I think I have seen it advertised.
It's absolutely horrendous.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I was 4 pints of beer in at this point.
Did you have to drink to watch it to make it bearable?
Yeah. Yeah. One of them was a nice, delicious 12 or 13% stout from Mackie Mackie.
Oh, right.
It was only a third of a pint, actually. So this wasn't 4 pints in, this was 4 drinks in, but very delicious. Barrel aged for 24 months in rum barrels.
Oh, nice.
Lots of coffee, chocolate, you get the rum, maltiness. I'm already dreaming again about this stout.
So, were you actually awake by the end of the film, or did you pass out with the...
No, I was still awake.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty horrendous. So this bloke from the 13th century just seems to be unfazed by the fact he's just gone from like medieval England to present day. He's just walking around like, yes, I want to ride your metal steed. And he gets in the car and off he goes. And he knows how to drive.
Oh, right.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
What streaming service is this on?
Netflix.
Oh, right.
It's really bad, but Rotten Tomatoes seem to think it was quite good.
No.
The film holds an approval rating of 70% based on 20 reviews and an average rating of 6.1 out of 10. The critics' consensus reads, while its plot borders on the absurd, The Night Before Christmas is endearing and charming enough to make it a worthy addition to the holiday rom-com genre.
Wow.
It's shit. Get in the sea. And Dan, I fulfilled my promise. There's your really crap film.
Oh, that's the winner, is it?
Oh, that wins.
Oh, wow.
Without a doubt.
Hands down. Wow.
Oh, if you want to push on to something slightly different...
Tell me.
Head over to Amazon Prime for The Night Before. So this is...
Okay.
The Night spelt with an N, just normal night. It stars Seth Rogen as Isaac, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Ethan, Anthony Mackie as Chris, Lizzie Kaplan as Diana, Mindy Kaling as Sarah, Gillian Bell as Betsy Greenberg, and Michael Shannon as Mr. Green.
Okay.
It's a bit of a weird one. Strangely enjoyed this. All for the reason that Seth Rogen is the general typecast for the druggie of the group.
I was going to say, is there some weed involved, is it?
There's weed, cocaine, mushrooms.
All the good ones.
All the good ones.
Yeah.
So he's obviously high as a kite throughout most of this film.
And he probably literally is, because he's got his own drug company, right?
Yeah.
He sells his own drug paraphernalia and stuff, which in certain states of the US is legal. And what was I watching? That's just random. Architectural Digest.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it? Ever watched it? It's a channel on, it's a magazine, I guess, by virtue of the name. But they've got a really interesting YouTube channel. I was watching it during COVID and lockdown. And they go around people's multi-million-pound mansions and you get some random realtor, they call them, don't they? We call them estate agency in the UK. But realtors out in the US. And they walk you around and say, oh, yeah, this is a bespoke, ornate... marble staircase that was flown in from the finest places of Italy to be built here, blah, blah. And look at this lovely, private waterfall onto your private, all that kind of stuff. And he visited Seth Rogen in LA, and he was in one of the suburbs. And he wasn't shown around his house. He was shown around his office. So kind of in the US, they don't really do houses sometimes. They do mainly like really nice bungalows. Do you recognise that? They're usually like one ground floor. Lovely, floor space phenomenal, but they tend not to build up certain parts of the US. I appreciate the place is like 300 million people, whatever it is, it's gigantic. And this is all ground floor, lovely, kind of whitewashed, looks like a beachside hut in LA. It's wonderful. He's walking around going, oh yeah, this is my meeting room. And there's like, I don't know, he doesn't show any drugs, but he's got, oh yeah, this is my favourite ashtray, and that shows off the products that he's selling. And he goes into another room, like, oh yeah, this is a vase that I made when I was high, and yeah, after I like had the nibbles and decided this was a great vase, and I'd recreate it, and now it's on the production line, and people are buying like them in their droves. It's random. It's really random because you click on a link going, oh yeah, I want to see Seth Rogen's house, and you just see him just try and sell his drug paraphernalia at you. It's odd. Cool, but odd.
It is a thing, especially amongst the celebrities. Kevin Smith, he sells his own weed. Yeah.
I mean, hat off to the people. There is a market. Not in the UK legally, anyway.
No.
But yeah, it's a thing, and as you say, he's very much typecast, isn't he? But hey, if he's enjoying his own product whilst he's filming, why not? That's literally having your cake and eating it, or having your spliff and smoking it, perhaps.
Yeah, so he's very good. So it's basically about Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, Ethan, and his friends, Isaac and Chris. So Ethan's parents died when he was younger, and his two friends basically sort of come together, and they have these Christmas traditions.
Okay, yep.
And now they're older. This is like their last Christmas together and doing these traditions, and they get invited to this big party which they've been trying to find for years.
Oh. Okay.
I know that I've probably not done the synopsis any justice. In fact, I didn't even put it in my notes. That's how slack I was with...
Or freestyling because it's that good.
Yeah. It is good, though. Rotten Tomatoes has given it 69%. And they said The Night Before provokes enough belly laughs to qualify as a worthwhile addition to the list of Christmas comedies worth revisiting, even if it isn't quite as consistent as the classics.
Okay. But it sounds like a different kind of, as you say, a different kind of take on the Christmas kind of genre.
Yeah.
Something a bit different for people to perhaps, if they don't want to watch the Hallmark, Lindsay Lohan or plot hole filled ridden Amazon Prime classic of Your Christmas or Mine, then sounds like that might be something to watch.
Indeed. And last up, Jingle All the Way, Disney Plus.
Now this was what, 1997?
96.
96.
Not far off, yeah. I saw this in the cinema as a kid.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. It doesn't hold up very well today, sadly.
Right.
However, anyone familiar stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as Howard Langston, Sinbad as Myron, Phil Hartman as Ted Moulton, Rita Wilson as Liz Langston, and Jake Lloyd, a.k.a. Anakin Skywalker,
as it?
Jamie Langston.
Of course it is, yeah.
Plot is workaholic Howard wants to make things up to his son, Jamie, and wife, Liz. Yes, that was right. He promises to get Jamie the hottest toy of the season, Turbo Man, even though it's Christmas Eve and the toy's practically sold out. As Langston hunts down the elusive gift, he runs into mailman Myron, another father on the same quest. With the clock winding down, Langston's moral code is tested as he starts to learn the real meaning of Christmas. I tell you what, these kids wouldn't understand the things we used to have to go through in the 90s. You don't really see it anymore.
No. Well, unless I guess you want an Xbox or a PlayStation. That's the closest thing that... But yeah, my dad doesn't miss a beat every year in terms of reminding me what I wanted, what he couldn't get. I think it must have been 90... Really aged me now. 94? 95? 94 maybe. And I wanted a Thunderbirds Tracy Island.
Oh man, they were so hard to get hold of, to the point
Which
where
ones?
actually Blue Peter taught
Yes.
you how to build your own.
Indeed, yeah. So they said, get your bog rolls and get your paints and your papier mâché. I remember that well, actually. I tried to make it, but I wasn't particularly good. I don't know how he managed it, but he got his hands on it.
Yeah.
And I think it came with... did it come... I came with Thunderbird 1. I'd already had Thunderbird 1, the space rocket. And then I think he got me... I was a really lucky boy, respectively. Thunderbird, I think it was 2, which had then Thunderbird 5 in it, the submarine, in like the little barrel connecting
the
thing.
little pod.
Yeah. And Thunderbird 3, did I say, which was the space rocket.
The
that goes
red
to
one,
space. And it's phenomenal because they all obviously fit Tracy Island, so you could put all of them in there. They were perfectly made for size. You had the palm trees that would move to the side and the ramp would go up. Oh, it's amazing. For people who have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
No. I do.
Yeah, it's basically puppets. And I'm not going to explain anything else. It's just puppets. But there's nothing wrong with that. And every year he'll say, well, I had to search high and low for this. And these days, no one really knows the pains that the parents had to go through to get the much coveted toy. I don't think they have it these days, do they? I mean, I'm probably out of the
out of loop.
Out of the loop.
The 90s were just a different time altogether. I remember Power Ranger toys.
Yeah,
they were hard to come by. I wanted the Megazord and the Dragonzord. Got the Dragonzord, but I couldn't get the Megazord.
Oh, bad times.
So I missed out. I got like the next gen Megazord and the White Tiger and
95-ish, 96.
Kids just wouldn't have a clue.
Then it was
about
Game
the
Boys.
90s.
Like these days, I don't know what people would be looking for unless it's a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox.
Even in the earlier 90s, Mighty Max.
Mighty Max.
Yeah,
what's that?
They were like Polly Pockets. You'd get like a thing, you'd open it up, it'd have little figurines you could play with. Do you not remember Mighty Max?
No.
Oh my god.
If we weren't recording on this device, I'd take a look.
What was your childhood?
You should Google this. Whilst you're doing that, I know there was a shortage of Tamagotchis, but have you seen Tamagotchis are now on TV again?
What?
Yeah. I have a little boy, for those who are perhaps not regular listeners, and he often has Milkshake on TV. For those who are not in the UK, it's a Channel 5 children's show in the mornings. You probably have it where you come from.
Holy hell. I'm just looking up Mighty Max now, and some of these things are selling for like 50, 60 quid on eBay.
Oh, right.
They only used to be like 7, 8 quid when I was a kid.
But with inflation, that's probably like 100 quid now.
And a bit of vintage stuff on top of it.
But anyway, they've got Tamagotchis back. Oh yeah, so they are like the traditional boys' toys of Polly Pocket equivalent. I never had one.
Oh my
No.
god!
Wow. Okay.
That was my that was my 90s childhood.
Oh wow. Have you still got them? Have you got your 60 quid worth?
No, they probably all got lost in moving houses and
Sold.
My parents used to bin stuff off, and shame really.
I should never have got any of my given away my Action Men or my Thunderbird stuff, retrospectively. But here we are now.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Action Men. They were a thing you couldn't get hold of.
Yeah, so you used to sort of depend on which one would come out.
Yeah,
because the kid would want like a specific Action Man.
Yeah, I mean all the freaking.
Did you have the one that had its eyes that used to move?
I didn't have that one.
No.
For the listener can't actually see what you did there, but he literally did the action of
he
behind your head and moving your eyes at the same time.
Yeah, you used to have like this little lever behind his head, and you could, if you moved it like left and right, the eyes would move.
Shifty. But would you not be scared though that like start moving on its own and you think it's possessed, or is that just me?
It sounds like Toy Story.
Sounds like Chucky.
It does.
But I guess that's more a reflection of me than it is on you. No, I think I wanted like the again, it was advertised at the time. The snow one. So he's got the snow outfits, and he's in the Arctic, and he's got his snow goggles on, and he's got his like submachine gun silenced. He looked the dog's balls.
He almost swore. He almost swore.
Nearly. Which, be odd for this podcast. But instead, I got the aquatic one where he's in like his scuba gear, and he's got the knife, the big fuck off knife, and the snorkeling gear and the tank and the goggles stuff. He still looked cool. He looked really cool. Not as versatile as a guy who's dressed for the snow, but hey.
Yeah. Oh,
God, action men were brilliant. Toys these days, man, they're all just plastic.
they look shite. It's like, again, going back to the mid-90s, I used to get like the Spider-Man and X-Men figurines.
Yeah.
And they looked really good.
Uh-huh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They probably don't hold up well today.
No.
But actually, some of the Marvel figurines you look at now, they're even worse.
Yeah, they have no lightness, and they just run away with creative license, don't they?
Yeah.
Just look rubbish.
You can probably twist the head, move the arm in like one way, the legs in one way. There was no like joints on these figurines now.
No way. No articulation. Got a question for you. And this bothers me probably once or twice a year, Dan, and has done for the last 25 years.
Uh-oh.
Is there a toy that you missed out on in your childhood that you always wanted, the much coveted toy?
Deluxe versions now, so they might be slightly smaller, but the features and the quality of them look so much better. But yeah, it was the Megazord for me. What about you?
Wolverine.
You liked the yellow and blue suit one, didn't you?
Talked about it before. For listeners that don't know about it, I'll talk about back in the day, Argos, you would roll the dice about what you would get. You get the catalogue number and they give you a range on the toys. For instance, it was the X-Men. Superheroes, for those who aren't aware of the X-Men. I don't know who you are, but if you don't know what they are, they're superheroes. Figurines. And it was a set, and I think you had Wolverine in there. I think you had Storm. You may have had Juggernaut in there randomly. Cyclops, and you had... I think there may be even Nightcrawler in this one.
They did come in like waves, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes, again, I look at this in fondness. I go on the old Google and I'm like, oh, those X-Men figurines.
I know, right? And there was 4 or 5 in the set. And I grew up with my grandmother, and she was like, oh, I'm going into Croydon. I lived in Croydon at the time. I said, oh, yeah, can you get me this? Saved up enough money. Okay, what's the number on the Argos catalogue? Of course, the thing. So you go downstairs, you get this big fuck-off book that's like 200 pages of just colourful goods, and you're rifling through it. And of course, you go to the dog-eared page that is of all the toys that you want.
With biro.
No, 100%. That's how you chose your Christmas.
Can't even get an Argos. Well, I mean, you don't need it anymore.
It's all
just
online.
Go online.
Going to Sainsbury's now. It's a thing. Again, fair niche to the UK, but anyway, they've been kind of brought under the wing of a supermarket. It's a bit odd, but anyway, needs must this day and age. Anyway, and you don't buy a specific toy. They just whatever the fuck's downstairs in the basement they bring up, which is a really odd concept because these days you buy something very specific, and it may be shipped from another country, but it's being delivered to your doorstep the following day. But you know exactly what you're getting. Back in the 90s, you roll the dice. And I really wanted this Wolverine because we're importing it now because no one else can see it apart from Dan. But there's a graphic novel on the bed. Anyway, the States, which is one of the best graphic novels out there. It's a Wolverine series, and he's wearing the classic blue and yellow, and the black, over accentuated eye mask. And I wanted that toy so badly, Dan. And my nan came home and was so excited. She's gone for so long. It felt like forever. Obviously, of course, it was just a couple of hours, but it felt like an eternity because I was really looking forward to this Wolverine figurine. And she delivered it, ripped open the box. It's fucking Cyclops.
And no one likes Cyclops.
No one likes Cyclops.
He was the biggest douche of the X-Men.
Yeah, it was a goody two-shoes.
Great tactician.
Yeah.
But just a dick.
Yeah. And I was disappointed, but I mean, you're not going to then say, oh yeah, take it back, because you've got a brand new toy, you want to play with it, but it's not as though you can then say, oh well, I'll buy another one. It's like gambling, effectively.
Yeah.
Go back to Argos, spin the wheel, do I get another fucking Cyclops, or do I get what I want, which is Wolverine? So anyway, the point I'm making is, a long story short, which isn't short at all, is I often think, far too many times for my own liking, there's probably some deep down psyche, something going wrong with me. I need to go and speak to someone about that. It's not the first time I said it on the podcast. I probably need to overcome this Wolverine shaped gap in my life and actually buy the fucker just to get over it.
We will find you one.
I actually should do it, Dan. I don't even want it. I probably do. But
I think you do.
Where to put it? I'm supposedly a grown-ass man. But I long for it, and it's really, really odd, Dan. I really long for this elusive toy that I've always wanted.
We will find him.
And you look online, as you say, these days, they're die-cast, they're beautifully, designed, they're painted wonderfully, they look really intricate, and they've got the articulation. So actually, I'm better off now than I was 90s, Alex. But, yeah, I still long for it. It's odd, isn't it?
Mm.
Anyway, if someone's doing a psychology course and they know exactly what's going on, probably keep it to yourself, yeah, because I don't want to know what's wrong with it. But there's something going wrong.
Well, look at that. A really shite film has brought out this
some nostalgia.
Absolute 90s
Spin-offs.
nostalgia. And so you kids, you wouldn't even know today, would you?
You wouldn't have an absolute foggiest the issues that we went through every Christmas, circling that bloody catalogue. But look, I mean, if other people have fond memories, and they probably are fond memories, of selecting their Christmas or birthday presents from that book of wonder and woe, get in contact and share and let us know. We could do an Argos catalogue spin-off. That's very, very niche, but I'm well up for that.
Yeah, do you know what? 2023, let's do it.
I'm not sure we get many listeners downloading or streaming on their morning commute to work or to college or wherever you guys go. An Argos catalogue episode, but I'm well up for it, Dan.
I can remember some of the toys I used to circle around and I want that. Oh, the 90s.
Oh, it's a crazy place.
Back to Jingle All the Way.
Yes.
Rotten Tomatoes, approval rating of 20%. There you go.
No way.
It's shite. And they said, Arnold Schwarzenegger tries his best, but Jingle All the Way suffers from an uneven tone, shifting wildly from a would-be satire on materialism to an antic slapstick yuck fest.
Oh. I mean, it's always on at this time of year, obviously, and it's always usually after the first couple of fights in the shops. So it's about the first third of the film. I don't think, apart from the cinema, I've ever really seen the full film end to end. And then I think it was last year, I oddly turned back over and I watched the ending, and it's random. It's a proper random ending. Like there's a fight scene, isn't there? Like in a some kind of flotilla.
Yeah.
Kind of, and someone's dressed as the baddie. Is that right? Of the toy, and someone's trying to steal this last ever action figurine, and it's very odd. Very, very odd.
Yeah. And let's also acknowledge that Arnold Schwarzenegger punches a reindeer on the nose.
Probably deserved it.
Yeah. But yeah. Strange film.
But doesn't hold up these days.
No. It's pretty awful. So I remember it as a kid, and I loved it as a kid, but watching it as an adult now, nah, sorry, Arnie.
Tell you what is interesting, actually. I should really stop doing this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I showed my son Stuart Little.
Yeah, classic. 2000.
That does hold up these days. Yeah. It does hold up. I mean, the CGI is a little bit ropey, but it's not as bad as some. The cat talks to Stuart, and they've got it. I think they've superimposed the mouth moving. Doesn't look bad.
No.
And that's 20 years old. And actually, I'm like, and my son's like, I don't really get this, but I think he was enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't bad for 20 years. There's not many films that you'd say actually still look half decent.
No.
But clearly, Jingle All the Way is one of those.
Yeah, sadly so. So we reached out to our listeners and asked worst Christmas films. Now, before I go into this, it is worth mentioning OTT 38 Die Hard, a Christmas film. We settled the debate.
I'm about to put my workman boots on and start sliding double-footed into this listener.
Gemma chose Die Hard. What are we saying? I'm not going to say a word because she's already angry at me for calling her out on Black Widow last year.
I'm sorry, but Gemma needs to get in the sea. We need to lock into that vault and push it over the edge, and she's going to be sinking to the bottom silent. What? Why? Is there any words? Is she There's no justification, Gemma.
No justification.
Not good enough. You need a dead terrorist in a lift with ho 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 scored in blood on his jumper.
With now I have a machine gun.
what is if that's not Christmas? I don't know what is. Rest in peace, Mr. Takagi. Rest in peace, the boss who owned Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
Such a generous man buying people Rolexes.
Well, Bruce Willis a few years ago actually did say it's not a Christmas film because it was released in June, July of whatever year. But
True enough, it was released at that time, but it features a Christmas tree. It's a Christmas party.
Christmas music.
Christmas time.
It
Nonsense.
references enough Christmas for me to say it's a Christmas film.
It is. And I watch it most Christmases. You know, Severus Snape falling from the 107th floor, whatever it is.
Yeah.
As you say, Dan, we have covered that film. Was it 2 years ago?
What, Die Hard?
Yeah.
It was last year.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. That was our Christmas special.
Doesn't time fly?
And we actually do some of the behind-the-scenes stuff as well, which was quite fun.
So, yeah, go give it a listen, because actually that was a really fun episode.
And Gemma, if you listen to this, I didn't say it, Alex did.
Yeah.
Right.
No, fine.
Don't come for me, come for Alex, he's going to duke it out. Yeah.
We'll go toe to toe in the streets of Portsmouth, and you'll win. But at least I will know that I've fought for the good name of Die Hard as a Christmas film, because it is. It's a fact.
Now this is an interesting one. So my
I don't condone violence, by the way, guys.
My group of friends caught wind of this episode, and of course it opens up a question in the lad chat.
Just the one question.
Just the one question.
I think there's many questions after today.
There was two.
Yeah.
So best Christmas film and best Christmas song.
Okay.
So let's go through them. We've got Leighton. He said Fairy Tale of New York.
I really dislike that song. I'm not one of the. I don't know if it's the right thing to say. Woke feels overused and definitely inappropriate in terms of this song, but I don't know how else to describe it. I'm not prescribing to the fact of I think it's not a good song for 2022. I just don't think it's a good song at all. I think it's miserable. And I know, it's a whole kind of comedic play on words and the toing and froing. I never got it. I never found it funny. Before people got on the bandwagon and said, you can't say that. Well, it's a song of its time.
Isn't like the word faggot now like censored out of that song?
I think so. I don't know enough about when it came out to know whether that word was insensitive then. But I still don't like it for the song. It's just not enjoyable for me. But it's a good one. It's late to say.
Yeah, that's his favourite Christmas song.
might
It
have
was
words
quite
related.
unanimous across the lad chat.
No
actually.
way.
Ash, who asked the questions, Fairy Tale of New York, best Christmas film, Miracle on 34th Street.
Good shout. Brings a tear to the eye.
Chris, he says Fairy Tale of New York, best Christmas film, Die Hard. As far as I'm concerned, Chris, that is some god tier answering there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Next up we got Rob. He said Fairy Tale of New York, and then best film was Scrooged.
I haven't seen it.
It's quite an oldie. I'm pretty sure me and the missus recorded last year to watch on our Virgin Media box, and it's still sat there waiting to be watched.
One of those, yeah.
We will get around to it eventually. Next up, we've got Joel. He said Fairy Tale of New York.
No way.
And best film is Elf.
It's a fix. Elf is good.
And last up, we got Luke. He said Fairy Tale of New York and Elf.
Oh, right.
Favourite Christmas song? Have you got one?
I was going to ask you, Dan. In the last couple of years, it's got to be Kelly Clarkson, Underneath the Tree.
Yeah, tune.
It's an absolute banger. Like I haven't listened to a whole album, and I'm not really into Christmas albums. Wrapped in Red, I think it's called. But that song, like it's got everything. It's got the jingling. It's got the big bellowing, catchy chorus. It's got the fancy, flightful, if that's a term, words. It's a wonderful tune. I think that one really is a great one for me. It's quite upbeat, quite for the tempo, and I love to play it on the radio. When we do the outside broadcast fundraisers, I love to get people dancing as I walk past. It's a classic, a modern classic. That one for me is phenomenal.
Yeah.
How about you, Dan?
All I Want for Christmas, but not the Mariah Carey version.
I think I know where you're going with this, so.
Alex Melton.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So the
Emo version.
country emo alternative, yeah.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
Might not be up everyone else's street, but I enjoy it for what it is.
A close second, Dan, not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway, is going to be Michael Bublé.
Yeah. Can't be a bit of Mickey Bublé.
Put on his White Christmas album. Everything on there is banging.
It's
Brilliant.
just so good, isn't it?
Every year. I don't tire of it. I'll play that album probably 30 times easy. That's lowballing it. It's so good. It's not Christmas without Michael Bublé.
No.
But no, Kelly Clarkson's track, though, Singular, is very good.
Yeah. Let's ring the sleigh bells and go into the next section of this episode.
All right.
So, Alex, this next segment was inspired by your Chichester Radio
Yes.
on Monday this week.
Yeah.
Put it on the socials, and no one disappointed. The best parts and the worst parts of a roast dinner at Christmas.
And this was a little bit divisive, I think, for when I put it out to my, sounds really obnoxious, followers. I don't really have followers. I have people that I know. It's not really in that space. But it was quite close, almost like Brexit. Some of the answers.
So what were some of the questions that you asked? And
Well,
because yours were a little bit more niche than what I got on the socials.
a little bit. So I was about what's the best bits of Christmas dinner, and we had people talking about pigs in blankets.
Yeah,
which
classic.
I think I mentioned before on the radio. My mother-in-law will cook 60 of the little fuckers, and would be lucky if there's any standing at the end of Boxing Day. Quite frankly, I love them. Do we have to describe what they are to the listener?
I'm sure everyone knows what a pig in blanket
It'll take
is.
10
but
seconds.
If no one knows,
It's a little chipolata usually, but you can do big sausages, I guess.
I'm just going to sidetrack. Have you tried the South Sea Bagel Company yet?
No,
Also known as Do You Know the Bagel Man on Instagram?
I don't.
Well, let me tell you, Alex. I went down to the Love South Sea Market
Oh, right.
last weekend, little market. Buying some niche little presents, last presents for the family, and he's down there selling his bagels. And I shit you not, Alex, I had the best bagel I've ever had in my life.
No way. Was it
It
a
was banging.
pig in blanket one, was it?
Pig in blankets, stuffing,
Oh, wow.
cranberry, and just a tiny bit of whole grain mustard just to give it a little
yes.
tang, and it was just delicious.
Sounds like a bit of a mouthful, though, right?
Oh, it was.
There's lots of mastication going on. Mastication, listener. Yeah.
It was stunning. Might have to hit him up. Be like, excuse me, mate, do you want to be on the pod? And then we get like a free bagel while we.
Well, hopefully you can't hear this bit. But
No.
yes. Hopefully you
I
get some free
guess. So
samples.
we would like to get you on the show to talk about your delicious bagels, where
Yeah.
you started, and all that stuff. But we'll probably talk more about potential guests that we want on the pod. On the
Most
Christmas Day
anticipated,
message.
all that.
All that.
Yeah. Chipolatas are the best thing usually in my opinion because they're thin and skinny, and you wrap them around in streaky bacon, put them in the oven for half an hour, 40 minutes, and they go all crispy and juice in the middle, and yeah, a bit of honey mustard,
Yeah.
or whole grain, just dipping, and it's a wonderful thing. But yes, we have too many in this household. My cholesterol temporarily goes through the roof during Christmas.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's Christmas.
It'll normalise a couple
Calories
of
don't
weeks
exist in
afterwards.
Christmas.
No, it's not a thing. Indigestion and sleepless nights are, but you can deal with that. But yeah, pigs in blankets. I did put a question out there, and I know that some people have a real contention around the use of Yorkshire puddings. Now, does a Yorkshire pudding, Dan, does that feature on your dinner plate?
Absolutely.
Now, it does in this household. And the reason being, and my rationale on the radio show was that I use that as like a mini kind of little bath, my mini bath that I fill up. So Yorkshire pudding, guys, it usually is it's almost like a crater full of batter. It's gone crispy, it's risen, so there's a dip in the middle, I can't otherwise describe. How would you describe
That
it?
literally is it.
Yeah, it's a crater, but it's got the crispiness and the soft kind of squidginess of the batter cooked. And anyway, I fill it up with gravy because, of course, the gravy goes around the table, right? And you're not going to see a second go around of that gravy. Gravy is one of the things that runs out quite often, very quickly, in my household at Christmas. So the first go around, I pour it into. That's like a real prick when I'm eating. Don't I? I sound like a really selfish bastard. But you've got to be quick with the gravy because I'm not going to stand there and make up a new one. And I fill up the Yorkshire, and then I just go and dip as I go. And I've got my own personal kind of gravy boat. And then by the end of it, you still got the crispy outside, but the bottom's really soggy. But it's saturated in that gravy goodness. Anyway, there were some northern people who will remain nameless because they'll no doubt get some internet hate, and they said no chance. Now I wonder if that's because Yorkshire pudding, I guess, originated from the north of England, where they're like, well, no, that's like a snack. Why do you have a snack at Christmas Day? I don't know, but they unanimously said they don't have Yorkshire puddings on their dinner table at Christmas.
Yorkshire pudding is god tier.
100%.
I don't use mine as a bath though.
Oh.
See what I do? I get some of the best bits of the roast dinner and I put it into the Yorkshire pudding.
Okay.
And then I save it for last and then I sort of cut into this thing. It's almost like a Yorkshire pudding wrap sandwich thing. It all goes in my mouth.
Have you had a Yorkshire pudding wrap, by the way?
No, I want one though.
Oh, there's one in Gunwharf at the moment.
Do
right
I
now.
need to sell a kidney to afford one?
Probably, yeah. It's going to be quite expensive.
Yeah.
Probably not worth it in retrospect. Make your own. Because the batter is what? It's
just
flour,
milk,
eggs, and a bit of water.
Yeah, I think it is.
And you mash it around. You get the oil super fucking hot to the point where you might have to go to A&E if you touch it. You throw it in, close the door, and then 25 minutes to half an hour later it's done.
Yeah.
It's very simple. So yeah, you don't really want to spend a tenner with trimmings and leftover crap thrown in. Make your own. But yeah, that was I thought it was quite controversial because that's one of the highlights, I think, of our dinner table.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree.
And then I think it was, I'll try and get this right, 47% of people said they wouldn't touch Brussels sprouts.
I have problems with sprouts.
That's just your
It's not my favourite part. Now,
it's fart food, Dan.
It
tastes like fart.
Smells like fart.
It does afterwards.
I've only ever had perfect sprouts once or twice. It's usually when the missus cook them. She gets them. Right. They're not bullets, and they're not mushy.
Okay.
They've got to be in between. But she cooked them with garlic and balsamic vinegar.
Oh right.
And it was delicious.
So I usually have them with bacon. That's the only way to have it is bacon.
Chorizo as well.
Oh right, yeah.
That's apparently very good. But
Spice sausage.
The only time that I can say that I've had good sprouts, but otherwise I fucking ate them.
But surely then, both of us have identified really strong flavours. What's the fucking point? If you can't taste them, what is the literal point of eating them?
Do you know what? If they're on my plate, I'll still eat them, but they'll be the first thing I eat because then I've got...
Get out of the way.
I can just go for the good stuff.
Yeah.
Just beeline for the next best thing, parsnips, carrots, peas. And then you save all the good stuff for last, like the meat, the potatoes.
Cauliflower cheese, is that featuring?
Doesn't usually feature on our roast dinners, but I am a fan of cauliflower cheese.
Do it this year, mate. I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
I think I might have to.
It's really good. Stuffing?
Yeah, stuffing.
Yeah,
always.
But how many different stuffings? Only one?
Just one.
Oh no, you've got to have 2 or 3 on the go. Serious.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't just go for your standard, mix your hot water, a bit of butter, then put it in the oven. I'm talking get your different meats, different cranberries, different nuts. Yeah, man. Talking to a stuffing connoisseur here.
I'm
salivating here, listener. It's not very nice for Dan, who's having to wear his apron to be safe from being sprayed with my saliva. No more than usual. But yeah, there's a little bit of controversy on the Monday night after 8 show for the Tuesday Hospital Radio. But what would our listeners say?
Well, Charmaine, she only pointed out the worst part. She said the worst part is turkey.
I don't disagree with Charmaine, actually, this one.
It's very dry.
Yeah.
I'm more of a I mean, we'll get on to some of the other comments in a minute, but I mean, to be honest, my mum hates turkey, and whenever we have roast dinner at my parents', it's always chicken.
Do you know what? This might be 100% chicken's got to be.
Oh, my dad
beef.
does gammon as well.
Yeah, I can
You've
see
got to
a
have
bit
at
gammon.
least 3 or 4 different meats on your plate.
Yeah. But turkey doesn't have to be one of them, and it's always dry, or the following day, it's incredibly tough. They could say, Alex, it's showing that you probably haven't had it properly. And you know what? I probably haven't had it properly, but I'm also not going to order it and go to a restaurant and say, oh yeah, I'm not going to have that delicious steak. I'm going to have some fucking turkey. You're never going to have it proper, are you? So why even have it? So yeah, I'm with Charmaine on that one. It's a waste, absolute waste.
We've got Matt next. He is currently in Thailand.
Oh, lucky bastard!
He said, back in the day, I would have said Brussels sprouts, but considering they are practically impossible to get over here, I would now say they are the part I miss the most.
No,
that's quite interesting. I mean, I've been to Thailand. Have you been to Thailand? I mean, you can get most meats out there, but sprouts, I mean, it's not something you see in a restaurant.
No. And I don't think there's any way you could get them out to him anyway, because they'd probably turn before they even got out of the airport.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one. I'll give him that.
Okay.
Next up, we've got Natalie. She said, the best is eating it minus the sprouts. The worst is when it's my turn to cook it.
Oh. And that's the thing. I often cook Christmas dinner in my household. And you're cooking all the constituent bits, they smell good. This is going to be banging, this is going to be lovely. And when it comes down to sitting and eating, I'm bored. I'm not really fussed. I'm like, I couldn't give a shit. The good thing is, though, the following day when you have the leftovers, that's when you really have an appreciation, because then you probably get the saturated fats and the crisp of the roast potatoes and the parsnips. And then you still got all the good bits, the crispy bits usually left over from the stuffings, and it's still good. The leftover gravy that still seems to have distilled into some really super strong, flavoursome stuff.
What do you do with your leftovers? Do you put it into a sandwich, or do you do a bubble and squeak? I mean, I do both.
The mother-in-law does a really good bubble and squeak. I just can't be bothered. No, we usually have enough left over to go again. And we often have a much later roast the second day, or if not, we may have picky bits here and there. But yeah, usually it's another roast. Because we don't often have roasts in our household. It used to be a thing, but just take too long now. And with a little boy, you just don't have the time. So I don't mind having a roast second day in a row.
I mean, if you find an extra £200 in your pocket, if you're lucky, get yourself an air fryer.
Got one.
Have you?
So tell me.
One of my friends...
it didn't cost £200.
Leighton, who lives in Northern Ireland, he did a beef roast last time we were over. And he did his Nutri Ninja, and it was just perfect. Like the crispy potatoes.
Oh, really?
The beef was perfect for me. It was medium rare.
All in an air fryer?
All in an air fryer.
Fantastic.
He's got one of the 2-drawer Nutri Ninjas.
Yeah.
If there's anything anyone wants to get me for Christmas, that's all I ask for. Doesn't have to be anything else. Just an air fryer.
Shows you're getting old though, because back in the day you were asking for Power Rangers and Megazords and Tracy Islands, and now you're asking for a fucking kitchen appliance down.
I know.
Sign of the times.
It's tragic, isn't it?
But still, they are brilliant things.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Sam. He says the breast.
Oi.
The best part is bread sauce. The worst
What's
part
bread sauce
is
again?
potatoes.
Is that a northern thing, bread sauce?
I'm not too familiar with bread sauce.
It's like a floury white substance that could be quite questionable if you didn't know what it was.
Is it creamy? Right, we're gonna Google this. Bread
on
sauce.
the fly, live as it's happening.
Bread sauce is a British and Irish warm or
Irish.
cold sauce made with milk, which is thickened with breadcrumbs, typically eaten with roast chicken or also turkey.
That doesn't sound very nice.
It doesn't sound appetising, but Sam, I mean, if you want to make me and Alex some bread sauce to try, I mean, I'm on game.
Yeah, no, seriously, I'm really up for trying it.
It doesn't sound great, does it?
It doesn't, but I know it is a thing, so there's got to be a good reason why people like it.
Yeah. What were we saying about the worst part there? He said potatoes.
So he's saying the worst part of potatoes. It's not being done right. He's
For
clearly
me-
not having them correctly cooked.
For me, the perfect roast potato has to be fluffy in the middle
Mm-hmm.
and crispy on the outside.
Yeah.
I want it to crack as I'm cutting into it.
Jamie Oliver, I used to be a staunch supporter of his up until Brexit, and then he voted for Brexit and then said, I can't afford my restaurants, so I'm going to close them down. Now, the least about that, I say, the better. It's not a political podcast, and people probably know by now my opinions on the whole shit show of British politics. However, what I would say about that chef is he has the best roast potatoes. And what you do is you cook your potatoes and you throw in there some chicken stock.
Yeah.
So it's boiling and bubbling around with the chicken stock.
Oh.
Sounds like a cooking show now we're doing here. But anyway, this will change your life, listener. So the chicken stock, and it takes on just a subtle flavour of the chicken. Not too much here. And then you just do it enough that it's a little bit soft, but not too much. Drain it. Use a colander, but also the saucepan that you've just cooked it in, and bash it from one side to another.
So it gives it that sort of fluffy.
Nice and fluffy, roughed up. So if you've got some aggression on Christmas Day, take it out on the potatoes. But it's super fluffy. Well, it's so fluffy, you get the oil super fucking hot, and you can add anything you want in there, you know, like some rosemary or some garlic. That's fine, that works too. Or just have it plain. And then what you do is you very carefully transfer the potatoes that you've roughed up, fluffy, they resemble potatoes. You put it into the fat. They sizzle, they'll cook, you put it in there, you baste it every 10-15 minutes. Dan looks like it's going to pass out with euphoria.
Salivating right now.
You take them out, and if you want to drain them off on some kitchen towel because they're dripping with fat, then fair play. If you want to risk your life and your arteries, and don't, I don't, because it's Christmas. And then what you then do is, just before it's finished, you get potato masher. You very gently press down on each of the potatoes. You squash them just a little bit. And it may crackle and it may break a little bit, but what you do is you're increasing the surface area of the potatoes, so they become even more crispier. And what you then do is you sprinkle some salt on, finish them off for 10-15 minutes, bring them out. They've got a golden crisp, they're super fluffy in the middle, and they've got whatever flavour that takes on that you've cooked them in. But that's how I do it, and they've been a winner for the last decade. They're the best roast potatoes ever.
I think there might have been like an audible.
I've got a mouthful of saliva. I'm going to choke on my own saliva. They're so good. Seriously,
That sounds banging.
that is my recipe. And if anyone's got any other ones, then by all means, let us know.
I feel like there might be room for a cooking episode sometime next year.
Perhaps. Along with the Argos catalogue classic.
Yeah. No one's going to listen to them.
But no, and that's why I don't. Look, we appreciate everyone's opinions here on the topic. I don't appreciate the one where potatoes are the worst bit, because I don't think they've been done right then.
No.
Personally. You can't say to me that you can't cut a roast potato in half, nearly scald the top of your mouth or your tongue on the hot, steaming inside, and dip it and soak it in a bit of rich gravy and then crunch down. And you have those textures, the golden crisp. Like, there's no way that's the best part. I actively leave that to the end.
Yeah, same.
Because you want to have the last savour bit of flavour in your mouth. The kiss of the dinner as you depart for the puddings is going to be that potato. How can it be the worst?
But I don't know if I've had potatoes as good as the ones that you've just described.
I'll make them for you if you don't do them yourself. They are an absolute ding-dang delight, to use your terms.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
Next up, we've got Todd. This is really controversial. The best part, the large glass of Malbec next to it.
Oh, right. Red wine, yeah.
The worst part, having to sit with the family.
Oosh.
Burn. Controversial?
I'm not a massive red wine drinker, but, and this it could be available in any other supermarket, Tesco's own branded mulled wine, phenomenal. Right amount of sweet, put it in the saucepan, add some oranges if you want, don't have to. You warm it up. It's the best mulled wine I've ever had at home.
Ooh. Cinnamon stick? Would you chuck one of those?
I would, my wife wouldn't, so I invariably don't, because I'm sharing it. But you arguably don't need it. So yes, I'm for the red wine, but of the mulled variety.
Yeah.
Family's an interesting one. There's arguments to say just because they're a blood relative, doesn't mean you have to spend any time with them. You owe them nothing. I get that. But actually, sometimes it is nice to actually spend a little bit of time with people that perhaps you don't see often.
I'm quite lucky this year. So actually staying at home this year for Christmas. See my family Christmas Day, Boxing Day, flying to Ireland. I'm going to go spend some time with my other half's family in Ireland, in Cork. So yeah, it's going to be a good Christmas, I think.
But yeah, I mean, look, every family's different, and I haven't met an untroubled family. So I totally get that they may be the worst bit of the day. Fair play.
Next up, we've got Brendan. He says the best part is the fact you're allowed to eat 4 types of meat.
Oi, oi.
The worst part, potatoes.
I've always said my piece of potatoes.
Yeah, we've said our bit.
But I agree with the meat. I think the variety at Christmas, perhaps the gluttony is perhaps the other worst bad side of it. But the variety is great, because when would you ever have that much food of a similar ilk in the same vicinity at the same time? You know, our fridge is already filling up with cheese. When would you ever have anything other than cheddar in your fridge? But you've got 4 or 5 different cheeses of a smoked, of a mature, of a whatever variety, and that's just cheese.
Yeah.
Then you've got the meats. Then you've got the different gravies. I make my own gravy if I'm doing I am cooking, so I'm always doing my own gravy. So I make my own gravy, which is another TV chef recipe. That's where I get most of my inspiration. But then I'll have one for a packet. But there's 2 gravies, and then there's stuffing, 3 different stuffings. You see where I'm going with it? That's an awful lot of food, all different variety. You would never do that in any other time of year. But it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you have like the 3-4 different meats and a sandwich in the evening.
And then desserts.
Wow. Christmas pudding, where do you stand on this?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I've got to be in the mood for it. But I think I'm in the camp of yes, it's okay.
I do like a good Christmas pudding. I say I eat it once a year. That's it. That's enough. I know my other half would hate it because it's got raisins and all the other good stuff in it.
Yeah.
The best bits, but she doesn't like that. Well, next question for you: Christmas pudding, custard or cream?
Custard.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
Are you a heathen like me? Do you have your custard cold?
Yes.
Oh, thank God! I'm glad it's not just me.
Because you got the hot, piping hot pudding. The custard cools it down, but it still ends up being warm anyway because it's on the piping hot pudding.
I feel justified in that because, again, my other half only heats her custard hot or warm, whereas she'll look at me and go, "You're a monster for having it cold."
Nah, you just cut out the waiting. But is it plain custard, or do you go premium Madagascan?
Oh, premium.
Yeah, the vanilla.
Yeah.
Got the shit in there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like a normal yellow custard that you used to
Nothing
get
wrong with that.
in school, but if I'm going to go proper, it's got to have the Madagascar vanilla in it. It's just creamy. It's
the
sweet.
cracker custard.
It's delicious. Yeah. It's so good. And last up for this segment, we've got Crow, or our good friend Rob.
Oh, yeah.
He tweeted me, he said, "The worst is a parsnip. Slowly coming around to them, but picking the best part is proving difficult currently."
Again, I will treat a parsnip the same as a roast potato. In fact, they're roasting together. So I can't. I'll have words with Rob because I don't see that. It's the way it's being cooked. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Arguably, actually, you can't taste it in the end after the way I roast them. But I think it's the way it's been prepared. There's no other way.
I like maybe a bit of honey to bake it with.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, I wouldn't do this with a festive roast dinner, but I will put my parsnips and carrots together, and I sort of salt, pepper, honey, and a bit of cumin.
Oh. Okay.
Mix together, chuck it on your baking tray, chuck it in the oven. Bosh.
Interesting.
It's quite nice. Gives it a nice sort of sweet, but sort of savoury.
Yeah.
It's worth a try.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. That is that segment. Let's ring those sleigh bells one more time. Right, Alex. We've been challenged. Christmas present ideas.
Yes.
So this is from Dan. He said, "There's a podcast idea in here somewhere. Gift ideas for the nerd in your life. Probably a bit late now, but maybe for next year." Well, Dan, we're not going to disappoint. We're going to do it now.
Why not?
We're going to reel some stuff off. Now, for the nerds in your life, Alex,
Yes.
I would go for the two easy things. First one's Lego,
Yes.
because what adult doesn't love Lego?
Yeah, 100%.
Covers a range of things. You've got your architecture, you've got your Marvel, you've got your DC, you've got roller coasters, fun buildings. You can now buy light sets to light these things up.
Yeah, yeah.
Why not?
Hmm.
Second one, nice and easy, Funko Pops.
Okay.
And again, you got everything. You got Marvel, you got DC, you got The Walking Dead, you got TV series, you got films. They cover so much now.
They do.
Nice and easy. This is the important one for me.
Yeah.
So this isn't really for nerdy people per se, but in the last 2 years, of course, it has been very difficult, especially for our local businesses. We were talking about this earlier
Yes.
off there while you're having your dinner. So they need us more than ever. So go out and support those local businesses. And especially local breweries. If you don't use these places, we're going to lose them. They are going to fall off the map.
100%.
And there's some fantastic local businesses to us in Portsmouth. You know, if I'm going to reel off breweries, then Staggeringly Good, South Sea Brewing Co., Mackie, Urban Island. That's just 4 of them.
Mm.
I think we've got like a gin distillery somewhere
We do.
in Portsmouth. I know I'm reeling off booze, but then you've got South Sea Bathing Hut if you want your smells and your goods. Buy your loved one a bath salts or a bath bomb, creams, etc.
Yep.
Who else have we got? Strong Island.
Strong Island, the clothing arm.
Yeah, go get some garms. South Sea Deli. Get yourself some nice treats, coffee. Bubblehead Barista, another good person to use if you want a nice coffee. I had one of his coffees actually, just up the road from here, Alex.
Oh, right.
He was in Portsmouth Cathedral, a little market,
remember you
about
saying.
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm.
And Claire only bought a black coffee, but this coffee was phenomenal. Like, it was fruity, it was creamy without being creamy.
Oh, right.
It was delicious.
Mm.
And I was full of cold, so I could still taste this thing. It's brilliant, yeah.
But yeah, if you don't use these places, then they're not going to exist much longer.
No.
You know, with rising utilities costs, at least in Europe, a lot of these businesses don't know how they're going to end up paying extortionate costs of gas and electricity.
No.
And they need all the help they can get. Unlike the massive multinational companies which don't pay tax and they can offset their costs and profits and still pay their shareholders, but don't pay their staff. It's very easy for us to preach, and we'll still use those services. But if you can have the inclination, it is a tough time out there for retail, for the local business, and yeah, I don't know if many will survive this current challenging financial situation.
No, it is scary. You know, you start to look at even some of the big businesses now. Who's your favourite brewery? The one that sells Pogo?
Yeah,
Wild Beer Company.
Wild Beer Co. Yeah,
they've just gone into administration. It's scary.
Yeah,
It's
and they're not
scary.
small fry. They were in the supermarkets. So yeah, it's really starting to bite.
Yeah. So please, go out there.
Wherever you are, look, it doesn't have to
Wherever
be
you are.
Portsmouth. It can be Basingstoke. It could be in Milwaukee, in the US. It could be in Thailand, Malaysia, wherever it is. Wherever you are, support local businesses because these people really need your support right now.
Yeah, honestly, find your next nearest market, and you will find some really cool stuff there. So many niche people. So I've been to a few recently, Alex. As I mentioned, I went to the Love South one a few weeks ago. Bought some earrings for my other half for Christmas. There was one at Staggeringly Good last week, and again, some really cool things. I bought my other half, not my other half, my mum. I bought her some wax melts for Christmas. We've bought some art prints from, I must say it was Little Earth, one of Claire's colleagues. So yeah, there's some phenomenal stuff out there. Just get your butt down there and find something niche.
Go have a
You'll
look.
probably make someone's day actually buying their product.
No, 100%.
Well, that is the festive cracker.
It is. It's been cracked open. It's popped.
Mm.
What was inside, Dan? Was it a festive joke? Was there a pair of nail files or some kind of ship puzzle?
Inside this cracker?
Yeah.
Well, we found some mediocre Christmas films.
We have.
Some really good and some really bad Christmas food.
Yes.
We found some cooking tips.
Some great cooking tips.
And hopefully some good present ideas.
And to top it all off, some questionable listener feedback about the worst Christmas films ever.
Oh, and let's not forget the usual on-the-topic nostalgia.
Indeed.
It's a beautiful cracker.
It is.
Just so good.
Let's savour it. And pop another one, I guess, in a couple of days' time, because we're going to have our annual Christmas Day OTT message of goodwill and festivity and good cheer.
And a good reflection of 2022.
Yeah, it's going to be good. If you don't know what that is, then have a look and listen to our previous episodes. We do one every year. Dan usually gets dressed up. It's nightmare fuel. This year it's going to be a little bit different, of course, because old Queen Elizabeth is no longer with us. But I'm sure he'll be
distasteful if I did put my plates on her again.
I think so. But will you be sporting, a long nose and a ball patch? Will you turn into old Charles as King Charles, King Dan now?
Possibly. I mean, I've got the long nose. It sort of suits the appearance.
This might be what you're expecting and waiting for your whole life. This moment.
At least I won't have the good royal perm this year.
Right. Yes. Shame, really. I was looking forward to you spending hours in the hairdressers getting your hair prepared and ready for the photo shoot.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe another time. But yes, we've got that coming up in a couple of days' time, so keep your eyes open. That is our alternative Christmas Day message.
It is.
Guys. So if you don't want to listen to what will be King Charles and Camilla, no doubt, on your TV screens at lunchtime, then you'll be available to listen to our episode, and we'll give you an alternative Christmas Day effort.
Indeed. We'll probably start winding down for Christmas ourselves. Have a little break.
Speak for yourself. I'm all the way through, 100 miles an hour, Dan. I never stop.
Well, no. I mean, not in this life.
No.
We'll be busy cooking our roast dinners. I'm going to go and try your spuds, to be honest.
No, it's a game changer.
But as the podcast, we will be winding down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Have a Christmas break, and then we'll be back sort of towards the end of December on our socials for most anticipated 2023.
Yeah.
One of my other favourite episodes.
Yeah, it's
that
really
we
good.
do every year.
Things to look forward to. So perhaps that's a good time, Dan, if people are interested to get in contact, right?
So talk about your films, TV series, music albums, books.
Anything that is going to be available that you're really looking forward to next year, get in contact to let us know, because we'll reel them off. We'll let you know. You can mark your diaries and your calendars, and you can be looking in anticipation forwards for those things to drop in the next 12 months.
Absolutely. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at On The Topic Pod. We've got Gmail, which is onthetopicpodcast@gmail.com. And Alex, we've got WordPress, and we are slowly rolling out our back catalogue onto YouTube.
Yeah, every week we'll be doing 2 episode drops on YouTube. So go have a stream, have a listen on there. And yes, we've got our website, onthetopicpodcast.wordpress.com. Go have a look. We've got a whole back catalogue on there. You can also visit our affiliate content site, Morbid and Mundane. Joey's got some wonderful clothes on his Etsy site, so go take a look. You can buy something perhaps of interest for Christmas.
Well, if it arrives on time. But again, this isn't political. We are all behind these people.
It'd be worth the wait.
Yes.
It'd be worth the wait. And we've got our ugly mugs on there and also some bios. So go take a look. Go have a wander around our web pages. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter to be notified when an episode is made available.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go and try these potatoes. I've been Dan.
And I'm going to be shaking my head in sorrow and sadness of Gemma's proclamation of Die Hard. I'm Alex.
Shots fired. And we'll see you next time.